Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our World of Paws podcast.
Today we're covering the infamous live-action movie of Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Made in cinema hell. Ha! Now, The Last Airbender is considered one of the greatest animated series of all time. It's so great that director M. Night Shamalan, or Shamalan Ding Dong, decided to create his own movie out of it in live action for the millions of fans of the show like us.
Yes.
Little did we know how disastrous that would turn out to be.
Because everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification bell to get updates of future podcasts and World of Pause videos.
It was more like Shamalan attacked.
Well, I take that back. The Fire Nation did a better job at recapping the whole show than him.
Now, full disclosure. Before this particular movie, most of Shyamalan's movies I actually was a fan of. Of course, you had his verge into horror films that were not graphic and gory or jump scare. And then you had him going to the superhero genre with
Unbreakable,
and that
Splits,
trilogy,
and Glass.
yes.
Yeah.
And those were great. So, of course, when I heard that The Last Airbender was going to be made by Shamalan, I was very happy. I was like, oh, this should be really good. He's done a great job in other movies, and he's got his pulse on what works. And boy, were we wrong.
Yes. And if you probably seen the movie when it came out in theaters and thinking this is going to be a cinematic masterpiece, remember it was advertised crazily. It's like based off the animated series, and they think, oh look, we're doing this parallel, we're doing this side to side, it's just like the show. And then you know something's wrong, and then you get to like the case, it's like, some of these characters, are they add new people, or are these ones that are from later? And like, oh well, luckily we rented it, only wasted $1 on a rental. I wish I had that dollar back though.
In that time.
So, we got to the movie, and then you're wondering, okay, if you open up with the 4 elements and then the text backstory, it's like, okay, they want to shorten this, not bad. They did the recreation of the 4 elements perfectly.
Yes.
And then you get to the movie with Katara and Sokka, and then you realize they are not Katara and Sokka.
No.
They just lack, personality, imagination, character, depth,
Physical
writing,
characteristics,
comedy, anything that was similar to Katara and Sokka are not there. And that's when you learn, from that moment on, from the first 5 minutes, that you were in for a world disappointment.
And another thing that really was baffling, the 2 people who played Sokka and Katara, Jackson Rathbone, and I don't remember the girl's name, please forgive me.
I don't think we've seen her in
But
anything else.
both, yes, she has. That's the thing I was going to get to. Both of them have been in other movies where their acting was very good.
Yes.
They have acting skills. But it's like Knight said, you know what? Everything you know about acting, forget that crap. This is what I want you to do.
Right.
And it was like, all of a sudden, I am a robot. 10 next as the director. What happened?
No one had any emotion the entire movie. I have never seen anyone make a movie where no one was happy or sad. They were probably angry, which is probably like the audience, but everyone was just so deadpan, so lackluster, so uninteresting. You kind of wonder, how on earth did you become an adaptation of a series that was nothing but fun?
There is absolutely no way, I'm sorry, Knight, that you ever watched this series.
Yeah, he claimed.
Even an episode, there is no way you could have seen it, because if you had seen it, there would have been some semblance to the actual series. The only bright spot, as I can say, is they really did put a lot of effort into the costumes. That's it.
And the opening and the ending credits.
Yes.
That were the only cool parts of this entire movie.
This was the worst live action movie I've ever seen of an animated series.
Yes.
Until Bleach, the live action movie. But it still trumps, forgive me for using that word, it still beats Bleach as being the worst live action movie ever.
Yeah. Because, okay, we want to point out that this movie was going to be the start of a trilogy. But after it flopped so badly and everyone had just hated it so much, they just forget it. Because, of course, it's a cliffhanger where they go to book 2. Each movie would have been counting each book.
Don't you ever make a book 2.
Right. So you're thinking, okay, what are they going to do for... Okay, so movie 1 is going to be all of book 1. There's like 20-something episodes. How are you going to fit it all in? Easy. We're going to cut out everything that's not have to do with Zuko. And just write like 5, 6, 7 episodes into one movie. And then they throw in 1 or 2 offhanded episodes. Like they throw in the one with Haru, who's now a tiny boy or a girl. I don't know. He wasn't a man. I don't know how they messed that up. You have the people that were stuck on the earthbending ship where they couldn't earthbend. It was a prison. And they were on...
And to quote Nostalgia Critic, I'm a little teapot,
short and stout. And they put the earthbending prison on the ground next to dirt, rocks, mountain, and soil. And they broke their spirits with so much. Oh, how do we get out of here? We're surrounded by nothing but dirt and earth and rocks. And wait a minute. like, you are the dumbest prisoners in the history of the world. You couldn't take a rock, and it takes 5 people to bend a boulder.
And if he had watched the series, he would have known that the prison had no connection. It wasn't even in the vicinity of any earth. It was on water.
Yes.
So that made sense. But being in dirt, by dirt, under dirt, on top of dirt, you can't bend earth, and your earth benders just kind of destroyed your movie.
Right. And I know we catch up all over the place with this movie, but truly this movie has no focus. The only thing they have to get is Aang to the North Pole to learn waterbending, because they just skipped his backstory altogether. They wait till 30 minutes of the movie to tell you his name's Aang.
Well, one thing that really didn't help this movie, and they didn't even take the time to do this as part of it, is they talk too freaking much.
Yes.
All they did was talk and tell you. No show, just talk. And they did all this talking, but they didn't have time to talk enough to tell you backstory.
Right. They even leave it, and there's even a point in there where Aang's backstory, he ran away, not by secretly, but in front of everybody, and just never came back because it was too hard for him. It's like, what? Then, don't forget, you also get to see the Father Lord. You get to see the Father Lord. He's not hidden. He just is on the screen all the time.
If you were brilliant in this movie, you would have casted Mark Hamill for the live action. At least you would have had 1 gold star for this movie by casting the voice actor in the live action, and we would have loved it. But you didn't even do that.
No, they couldn't do anything right. They didn't have anybody or anybody from the original series.
No.
None of the voice actors, none of the directors, not even the creators. They didn't even tell them they were doing this movie. So this entire movie, you're sitting here bored, waiting for something exciting because you love the show, and you get nothing but boring dribble a whole time. And they even try to squeeze in other things because they thought, this should be interesting because this was in the show. People like this part. They even keep in the blue spirit who looks like a wild man, and Commander Zhao already knew who he was and didn't even see his face or his swords or anything. You could see his mouth, and that's all he recognized, which is kind of disturbing when you think about it.
And you committed the ultimate evil by putting the scar of Zuko on the wrong side.
The scar is not on the wrong side.
How in the heck could you put the scar on the wrong side and say you watched the series?
Right.
One of the things that this fandom really just chaps our highs is seeing the scar on the wrong side. And what do? You put the freaking scar on the wrong side. And nobody in this movie said, hey, dude, the scar's on the wrong side.
It's like, why did you do this? Like, you forgot the scar. Well, we're finished now. Who cares? So, and then...
Oh, right. You put the sliver. Forgive me.
Yeah, it's a little sunburn.
Sliver on the wrong side.
Yeah, it's like a little sunburn or something. Like, that's a scar? Okay. And then, and don't forget, they also took out like 90% of the characters that were in season 1.
Which you don't find out until you watch the special features. And you see all this brilliant footage that actually would have been great in the movie, would have given it more credibility, and they took it out.
Yes, they kept in the fortune teller. You saw some of the Kyoshi warriors. You saw more diversity with all the tribes and things. All of them were cut out of the movie. They just gotta show you them leaving them, and then that's it. And because for some reason Shamalan decided to reverse all of the nationality characters.
Just Aang, that's correct. Just Aang, that's it. And the kid that did that role, he should get a pass. He's a kid. He did exactly what they told him. At least he was dressed like Aang. No, that's right. He looked like Aang, but they didn't want to take the time to paint on the freaking arrows.
Yeah, they just had one arrow on his head, and they were done. Because they decided they need a whole lot of little itty bitty teeny tiny detail when it was just one blank arrow. So they put so much effort into the arrow on his head, and they got tired and didn't want to do the rest on his arms and his legs. It's like, well, you could have done it if you just planned just a one big blue arrow. You didn't have to add in all those little details.
Follow the series script. That's all you had to do. So simple, so easy.
Right.
Follow the script of the show. Just follow the show.
Right.
Then you could have had your book 1, your book 2, your book 3. We would have all been happy, and the fandom would have been glad.
Right. And then, before we get to more characters they took out, you change everyone's personalities. Everyone's just bored. Sokka isn't funny at all. Now, we did realize that, yeah, Sokka was a bit of a stick in the mud in the beginning and later lighten up. That much is true. But this version of Sokka did not line up at all. He threatened to kill somebody. He stayed serious the whole movie. He never once cracked a joke.
And
he was threatening Aang.
And why were Katara and Sokka so much different in age? Why was he the older brother? She was the oldest. This girl that played this role was much longer than Jackson Rathbone. Again, you didn't watch the series.
Right. Even though it was the reverse.
And then he was real tall, and then she was real short. It's like nothing about this movie made sense.
No.
You would have really thought this was a Japanese live-action movie.
Right. And, they also took out like 90% of their cast for season 1 by skipping a bunch of episodes. However, and they also cut out...
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Forgive me, guys. You would have thought this was a Netflix
adaptation. Yeah.
Thank you.
They also cut off, for some brilliant reason that you will love to hear, they cut out Avatar Roku, who was the guy to tell Aang that he had to take down the Fire Lord and save the world before Sozin's Comic come. He was replaced with a dragon. They replaced the spirit world, the spirits, Avatar Roku, all of them were shafted. Then they got a dragon because they said it'll be too many people to cast in the movie. So they had a dragon just cover all of the spirit characters and just have him be, and he's kind of useless because he doesn't tell anything.
So again, you did not watch the series. If you think it was casting too many people in the movie, you did not watch the series. You didn't know the importance of any of the characters and scenes that you took out. And it's really disappointing because, again, I was a fan of yours for other movies you've done. But this right here, it just doesn't hit right.
No. It's not like something like you ate wrong.
Yeah.
And as the movie goes on, it just gets worse. It somehow managed to get worse. Because then we get to the season finale because they just skipped everything with the group getting to the Northern Water Tribe. And then you see Princess Yuri, who has a very inappropriate and probably should be censored hairstyle on her, and they allowed to be filmed and put on in the theaters. Okay. Good night, everybody. If you've seen the movie, you know what we're talking about.
This movie is just an atrocity. There's no other way to put it. And one thing we just don't do is rag on movies and series and things, but there's just no way around it on this one. Again, the only good thing, actually there were two. One good thing was they put a lot of effort into the outfits, into the
opening credits and the closing credits. Their animations were probably the best parts of that, which brings up the question, why didn't you put up that animation in the actual movie?
Yeah, we were wondering that.
Because they barely bend. It takes them 10 minutes to water bend now.
Mm-hmm. And the actor who played Zuko somehow, some way, came out of this still not looking bad.
Yeah, there's only one of the few actors to put some effort into the movie, which people have pointed out. Both Zuko's actor, Iroh's, who's now Iro. I forgot to mention that they mispronounce everyone's name.
Yeah, but change and pronunciation of every name that you know.
Right. Iro now and Zhao, all of them play their roles how they're supposed to be played. And even with what they gave them, it's like, they're the ones you could believe playing them, even though they don't look like them.
Shopko, Irritated, and Jowls.
Sorry.
This was just...
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
The movie is it's just so boring.
Well, we want to ask, is there anyone out there that actually liked this movie? So far, over the years, we have not encountered one person anywhere that thinks this movie was good. But if for some reason you happen to be that special person, let us know why in the comments below. But we really expect to hear more comments about why you can't stand this live action movie. Why Cinema Hell was created by Avatar: The Last Airbender live action movie.
Right. Plus, you know that both Avatar series, Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, were added, and of course the Last Airbender movie live action. For some reason, they just gave it to them for free with Avatar and Legend of Korra, so they got a free movie with it. And they decided to present you with everything, which in a way, thank you for providing everything from this series so far for us to see. But on the other hand, you could have kept the movie.
Definitely.
Unless they're the animated ones based off of comics, I don't want to see any more movies because, thank goodness, they did not make a sequel.
Now, for something positive.
Can you imagine what they would do to Toph if they made it to book 2?
Maybe she would be happy because he would have a big muscled man playing Toph.
Right?
She could be happy finally. Seriously, if you're going to do a live action adaptation, stick with the script of the series. Stick with the characters of the series. It's not brain science. It's not rocket surgery. Yes, I said that on purpose because this is what he made it seem like. It's so simple. Just stick with what was already written. Just make the characters how they are. Just follow the storyline. That's all you gotta do. And get actors that are great actors and let them act. That's it. It's so simple. Such an easy formula. If you could do that, then we would be in love with every live action adaptation that's made. Don't follow Netflix's example. Although I love Netflix. Just stop. Don't make a second one. Don't try to redo it. Just leave it alone. And it seems like the creators, maybe they felt that way. We've never heard an explanation as to why Netflix was supposed to have a live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Right.
They backed out and we never found out why.
Right.
Maybe they just decided, it's perfect as it is. It's already been screwed up once. Let's just leave it as it is.
Because the worst thing that can happen is if they make it again and it'll still be bad and it's by the original people. That would mean that something was seriously wrong. So maybe they just played it safe and leave it alone.
So, until Hollywood is coming, is able to stick to the script of the series and the characters and just make it like it should be, really, they need to stop making live action movies. So far, the first one to get it fabulously, fantastically right in America was Sonic.
Yes.
And in Japan was the Psyche K live action movie. So if you guys can use these two as your diagrams of how to do live action right, then maybe you'll do a good job.
Exactly. So, be sure to like, subscribe, include notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and more pause videos.
Yes.
And beware of this movie.
If you haven't seen it, don't. Do not step into cinema hell.
Unless you just want to go to sleep or be driven to madness, whichever is your pick.
Or you plan on watching it and then making a video on all the things wrong with it, then let us know in the comments below and we'll be happy to watch it.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.